Why is this film being released in January? I swore it was supposed to come out like a couple months ago, but maybe that's not in the US. Perhaps studios didn't want this movie to compete with a complete unknown because this biopic is actually good.
For the next 2 hours, your ass is mine!
I went into this movie not knowing anything about the artist himself. As a matter of fact, I didn't even know this guy existed. I don't know any of his music unless maybe I have heard him, but I didn't know that was him. I am someone with a completely unbiased opinion on this guy and this film because I don't know who this guy is. I don't know who Robbie Williams is. But unlike that shameless, generic Bob Dylan biopic that only came out about 2 weeks ago, this one actually taught me something about the man who I knew nothing about. This isn't some basic biopic recreating all the major moments of his life. No, instead we actually get to dive deep into the character, deep into who this person is behind the scenes. Robbie Williams isn't just some one-note asshole that's bickering about how everyone wants him to be something that he doesn't want to be. No, instead he actually takes initiative here and has a whole wide range of emotions. We follow the story of British pop superstar Robbie Williams from his early childhood to his rise to fame to his dramatic fall and his remarkable resurgence. Yeah, I stole that synopsis from Google, okay, sue me. With a career that started in the late 80s all the way through into the early 2000s, we are witnessing everything from the highs and lows of the man Robbie himself. The movie does not shy away from showing us the gritty details of this man's life. Of course, not everything, because that's not what a biopic is supposed to do, but it does give us an idea of who the man is and what he went through in his life, unlike the Bob Dylan biopic. For those of you who've seen the Elton John biopic Rocketman, this film is basically the spiritual brother to it. It's very clear that Better Man took huge inspiration from Rocketman and just amped it all up to a whole nother level. And if you're curious as to why we see a monkey or ape on screen instead of the man himself or some actor portraying him, here's a video explaining that.
In your own words, you would refer to being dragged up on stage to perform like a monkey. I immediately thought portraying you not as we see you, but as how you see yourself.
It is such a unique and refreshing take in the biopic genre that it makes it stand out all the more better compared to all the other garbage that we keep getting every year. Does anybody remember the Bohemian Rhapsody movie, or that Elvis movie, or that Bob Dylan movie that just came out like a week ago? I'll tell you one thing, you're gonna remember this movie because it's actually fan-fucking-tastic. The production, oh my god, it is goddamn sexy. I mean, there are some amazing sequences throughout this entire movie that had me in awe and just completely in it. I was worried that the VFX were gonna take me out of this film, but holy shit, it goddamn rocks. It slaps. There isn't a scene where I felt taken aback, taken out, just because he's interacting with other real life actors. As a matter of fact, it really does hammer down the idea of just how much of an outsider he felt in society, which allows us, the viewers, to always just sort of look at him, isolate him from the crowd, and really see his story, all told in this musically fantastical way that we've seen in Rocketman. There is narration by the real Robbie Williams. In Rocketman, Elton John is sharing his story in rehab to a group of people, whereas in this movie, Robbie Williams is just strictly talking to us, the audience member, telling his side of the story, giving us a really much deeper insight to him and how he fell down and how he came back up, which makes the movie feel all the more personal and really builds up my respect for the man because he just isn't ashamed to tell us just how much of an asshole he is or was. All of the performances in this film are brilliant. I can't really say that there is a standout here, but everyone is doing a great job with what they're given and does not break the suspense of disbelief. There is so much insane shit happening in this movie, from his start in a boy band performing at gay clubs, rising to fame, and then trying to go solo. Oh my goodness. All the while through the narrative, the emotional constant for Robbie Williams is his connection with this family, his dad, his mom, and his grandma, especially the grandma. This film is trying to do so much within the 2 hour and 15-minute time span that the emotional beats don't really hit as hard as they want to, but they still work. I think my only real issue with this movie is the constant manifestation of his self-doubt. I just got kind of annoyed and fed up by constantly seeing it and hearing it in the back of his head or in front of him in the crowd when he's performing. I had enough of it within the first half, and while I understand why it exists and why it's still going on for the entirety of the movie, it just got annoying really fucking fast. But again, that's just me. It's probably just a nitpick, but I really could have just done without so much of it because the movie is already showing us how he's struggling internally and we don't need it to be visually and audibly told to us again. Beyond that, this film just fucking rocks, man. This shit goddamn slaps so hard, it had me creaming my pants because of how insane some of the visuals were. I mean, my goodness, it is just fantastic. Sometimes it would get a little bit slow, but then we're right back into the action, watching Robbie Williams and his career go into life, go down, go back up again. And like every single biopic about a music artist rise to fame and fall and climbing back, coming in and out of rehab, you know, you already know what's gonna happen in this movie. You've seen it before a million times, but it works here because of the style. Again, I know I'm being annoying as fuck by constantly bringing up Rocketman, but have you seen Rocketman? You already know what's gonna happen in this movie. But that does not mean you skip out on it, because this is just as good. Better Man is too good of a movie to have been released in January. This should have came out a whole month or two ago so that we can compare it to Bob Dylan's shitty fucking garbage piece of shit stereotypical Seriously, I am so damn tired of these generic biopics just because it's an easy copy and paste. Oh, compared to the real person because it's an easy Oscar. Go and support this movie so that studios maybe will learn the lesson that we want actual good biopics, not just some more of the same generic schlop. Seriously, do not miss out on this movie. It has insane visuals, fantastic performances, and an emotional core that all of us can grasp onto. Everything I Complete Unknown does not have. Alright, that's enough of me. I'll catch you guys next time.
Yeah, that's right, y'all. Yo, live on the mic to infinity.